boys and girls. Today for skills, we are doing Unit 6, Lesson 32. Let's look at our primary focus slide. We will be reading a new chapter today called Making Sense of the National Anthem, and we will be answering questions about key details in the text. Now, I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I want you to take a look at activity page 32.1 before we get started with our chapter. Okay, I am going to read the chapter to you today, and you are going to take notes as I read. So you will be answering these questions as I read. So you should have these pages printed out in front of you so that you can refer to them while I'm reading. If you don't have a printer, go ahead and write out the questions so you can answer them while I'm reading. Let's take a look at them. Number 1, what are the 3 times during the attack on Fort McHenry that Key looked for the flag? And number 2, how could Key see the flag in the middle of the night? Number 3, why couldn't Key see the flag just before the sun came up? And number 4, why was it important to Key to see if the flag was still flying after the attack ended? Okay, like I said, have these questions in front of you. If you need to pause this video now and write them down, go for it. If you need to pause anytime while I'm reading, go for it. That way you can write things down and not rush. Chapter 12, Making Sense of the National Anthem. Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago. There are some old words in the poem. Some parts can be hard to understand. Let's look at the words and try to make sense of them. On the next page is the first verse of the song, the part that we sing before a sporting event. Can you read it 2 or 3 times? Or is a short form of the word over. To make sense of the Star-Spangled Banner, it helps to think of what Francis Scott Key was doing the night he wrote it. Key was watching the attack on Fort McHenry. In the poem, he describes the attack as a perilous fight. That means it was a dangerous battle. During the battle, Key kept his eye on Fort McHenry. In the poem, he mentions the ramparts, or walls, of the fort. But what Key talks about the most is the U.S. flag that he could see flying over the fort. Key says the flag is spangled, or dotted with stars. He also talks about its broad stripes. When the wind blows, Key says, these stripes blow back and forth. They look like they are streaming or rippling in the air. Have you ever seen a flag look like that? In the poem, Key describes 3 different times when he looked for the flag. First, he tells us he looked for the flag at the twilight's last gleaming, or just as the sun set. Since it was not dark yet, Key could see. He saw that the flag was still flying over the fort. That was good. It means that the troops had not given up. Key tells us he also looked for the flag at night. You might think he would not be able to see much at night, but Key explains that the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air lit up the sky. These flashes of light helped him see. They gave him proof that the flag was still flying. Key looked for the flag again just before dawn. This time he could not see it. Remember, the attack on the fort had stopped just before dawn. There were no more bombs bursting in air. There was no more rockets' red glare. It was dark. Was the flag still flying? Had the troops in the fort given up? Or had the British? In the time before the sun rose, Key did not know. At that time, he had a lot of questions, but not a lot of answers. In the last lines of the song, Key asks another question. He says, "Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?" The Star-Spangled Banner is the American flag. the land of the free and the home of the brave, is what Key calls his country. It's another name for the United States. So Key is really asking the same thing he asked before. He is asking, is our flag still waving? Key asks these questions, but it might seem like he never answers them. In fact, he does. If you ever get a chance to read the rest of the poem, you will see that Key answers his own questions a little later. There is a part later in the poem where he says, "Yes, the flag is still flying, hooray!" But that is in a part of the poem that we don't sing very much. Most of the time, we only sing the part with the questions. We don't sing the part with the answers. So the next time you sing or hear the national anthem, think of Francis Scott Key. Think of him watching the bombs bursting over Fort McHenry. Think of him checking on the flag and wondering if it's still flying. If you keep your eyes on the flag during the song, you will be doing just what Francis Scott Key was doing that night long ago. All right, boys and girls, so you are going back. Actually, you should have this page, like I said, in front of you already. If you need to go back and watch the video again, go for it and pause when you need to. And that is it for skills today. So that is note taking. All right, have a great day.